Hey babes, welcome back to my channel. It's me, Kagam. Okay, I'm on my second week of doing 6 videos a week, and so far I'm actually really enjoying myself. My holiday's ending in 2 days though, so I have to be back at work. So today's video is Chanel and the shenanigans. I might be creating a special section on this channel called Chanel and the shenanigans. I might do that because every day I'm like, okay, I've done a Chanel video, I won't do one for a bit, and then Chanel's like, I'm still misbehaving, so I need you to cover me. So I was just like looking online. I was looking at my research going into my trendy. I was just doing that yesterday. And then I was thinking about where I want to travel once this biblical plague is finally over. And I was thinking about, the places I'd love to go. I would absolutely love to visit more places in France where they're like luxury stores. And yes, I'm about to say Monaco. I know Monaco is not part of France. Relax, guys, okay? So I was like, okay, let me see what's going on in the world of Chanel in these, cities and places like that. And let's see how Chanel is treating customers. Bad idea. Chanel still has not learned their lesson about treating people badly. Chanel stays behaving badly, okay? And they're just really, really bad at the moment. So I have done videos before about how people are treated in luxury boutiques, and I feel like Yelp and Google reviews is awesome because you get to kind of see the revenge of the consumers, like consumers going in on these brands, and I live through it. So I wanted to kind of read something to you that someone said about the Saint-Tropez store of Chanel, which, by the way, for those of you interested, is currently closed apparently. It's not open at the moment. I'm guessing because of C-19. But this is the Saint-Tropez store of Chanel. It's called Chanel Saint-Tropez. It is on the address. Well, actually, no, can't see the address here. Yeah, the address is 1 Avenue General Leclerc, 83990, Saint-Tropez, France. Okay, so this one is very unique for those of you who are really into luxury stores because this is the store that's in this villa. So the store is in what's called the Chanel Villa, and there's swimming pools, really lit things like that. It just looks dope. It's very unique. I don't know if those of you have seen, but it's all over Pinterest and Instagram. Many people have gone there to take photographs. So it's a villa and there's swimming pools inside and you can buy things. It just sounds fire. When I think of luxury, that's what I think. So I was like, okay, I've always heard about this place and thinking, oh God, I'd love to go there. I've never been to Saint-Tropez. I'd love to go to Saint-Tropez. So I was like, okay, let me see what people are saying. So some people are saying, yeah, I had really good experience. And then there's this one review I read that I have to read out to you guys, and then you need to tell me what you think in the comments. This is one woman who said, I was so looking forward to visiting the Chanel Villa in Saint-Tropez with my family on holiday to purchase a little something. It was the most horrible experience of my life. We felt intimidated by the guards, and one of the guys made my 10-year-old daughter cry. We felt totally uneasy and not the experience I was hoping. Such a shame. I would never recommend this horrible place to anybody. Just that is terrible. And this is not the first time I've read things like that about Chanel boutiques in France. And before anyone says oh no, you're being mean about French people, no, it's got nothing to do with that. I actually lived in Paris for a bit when I was doing an exchange. I've been to the French West Indies, I've been to Martinique. I actually had a really good time there. I met some really cool people, particularly in Martinique. I think the problem is this. A lot of capital cities just are cold. And I think a lot of people who've been to Paris can attest that Paris is kind of cold. There is a kind of iciness there. And some of that I've been told by actual French people have told me that some of that is because a lot of Parisians do kind of feel like their city has been overrun by tourists. I've heard this from French people themselves, people who are born and bred in France, maybe not from Paris. I've heard this from Parisians themselves that, okay, cool, we like you guys and stuff, but you guys are just here way too much. You don't make an effort to say bonjour, bonsoir, and I think that kind of tires and brings people down a little bit. And you do see that reflected a little bit in how people are treated in stores. So let me give an example. I think I've talked about it on this channel before, but not in detail. A few years ago, he's my husband now, but he was my boyfriend at the time. So my husband and I, we went to Paris. We were actually going to a Beyonce and Jay-Z concert. at the Stade de France. We went to that, it was fire. So we also went to the Champs-Elysees, we went to the MAC store there. And then I was like taking a picture of a blush. And then the security guard runs over and he's like, you cannot take photo, you cannot take photo, you cannot take photo. And I was like, okay, relax, okay? Relax, dude, just chill out and calm down. And then my husband tells me in Swahili, which is obviously me and my husband's language besides English. He tells me in Swahili, so the guy doesn't understand. He's like, whoa, like, what's going on with this guy, man? Like, why is he going in on you? His eyes are popping out. Like, they were like, ah. And I was like, I don't know what his problem is, but he needs to relax, okay? You told me I can't take a picture. I won't take the photo, but I've already taken it. So what you gonna do? Mm-hmm. So I think that there's this kind of like coldness in French boutiques. And Parisian ones, I beg your pardon, not all French boutiques like this, but in Parisian stores, I think that there is this kind of coldness, and it does kind of feel off-putting. And I think that it's just more like, you know, there's this kind of like, they seem kind of tired of tourists. They're like, oh God, here's a tourist taking a photo, I have to go yell at her. Whereas instead of just being like, hey, like, hey, I'm really sorry, madam, but you're not actually allowed to take a picture. Like, that's a way better way. You can't run over to me. You haven't even said hello. Be like, you cannot take photo. You cannot take photos. So I was like, boy, bye. So I then decided to read more reviews. A lot of the reviews of the boutiques in Paris are even worse than this one. The Saint-Tropez one has a lot of 5 stars. There are a lot of positive, kind comments about the Chanel villa at Saint-Tropez. But the boutiques in Paris, particularly the 31 Rue Cambon boutique, my goodness, like, I don't know what's going on over there. If anyone knows someone who works there, please, and you want to talk privately, please send me an email, send me an Instagram DM, because people are going off, okay, on this particular store. Obviously, for those of you who don't know, 19 Rue Cambon was the original first boutique of Chanel, but 31 Rue Cambon is kind of the mothership, the flagship, because that's where Gabrielle Chanel lived. So she had her flat, it's still there. Her flat is actually above that store, and the packaging comes in white and everything. It's very romantic. Very slick marketing, I have to say. As a marketer, I'm quite cynical. I'm like, I'm not going to be marketed to, but I know what you're doing, Chanel. So this particular like outpost, like the reviews are so bad. I was reading some of them on Yelp on my laptop. For some reason, they're not opening up here on my phone properly, but I already read most of them. There are a few that stood out to me that I wanted to share with you guys, to hear what you guys have to say. There was like one person who said that she came wearing Chanel prêt-à-porter and was treated like dirt. Someone else didn't know you weren't allowed to touch the bags there apparently, and she like tried to touch a Chanel boy bag and had security guards running after her like, you can't touch it, put it down. What is going on at Chanel? So apparently 31 Rue Cambon, their rules. You're not allowed to take photographs. You're not allowed to shoot any video. This explains why I have never seen a luxury shopping vlog at 31 Rue Cambon. That makes complete sense. Apparently there are cameras all around the gaff, so no one's gonna get away with taking a photo or shooting any kind of video whatsoever. If you do try and take a photograph, if you do try and film a video, security guards will come over and check you and tell you to stop immediately. You are not allowed to physically touch anything yourself. The SA has to come over and take it out for you. Now, part of me was thinking like maybe they're doing this to kind of decrease on window shopping, because they have all these like scary rules and people hear them and they're like, oh my gosh, like I can't go there and touch something myself. I believe this is the only Chanel boutique in the world where you're not physically allowed to touch something on your own. Other Chanel boutiques I've seen, you know, vloggers and, you know, YouTubers, people just picking things up. Obviously you're allowed to pick something up. So I think it's a bit over the top if you ask me. It's a bit aggressive, but you know, it's their store, it's their rules. But I personally just think that's kind of corny. Like, okay, go in there, you have to wait. They're like long waiting times. If you don't go early, it can just take forever. There's one story that stood out to me the most out of all of these reviews. There was someone on Yelp who said that basically they went there, they were so excited, they had been looking forward to this like for years. They're like Chanel addicts, they love Gabrielle Coco Chanel, blah, 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 okay? They get there with their husband, they're ignored, treated like dirt, and it literally crushed them. I was reading the review, the person sounded so upset. I felt really bad for her. Like, Cartier is my favorite brand, you know. Plus Vendôme is the flagship for Cartier. If I was treated really badly there, I feel like I would be triggered. I'll be mad as F as well. But there was someone else who said that they came in as a single woman. They saw that the only people being offered champagne were people who came with their boyfriends or husbands. Come on, guys. This isn't cool. Like, Chanel needs to stop doing things like this. You know, I was reading that and I was like, I could so see Chanel treating people better who come in with their boyfriends or with their husbands. I shouldn't have to come with my man in order to be treated better and to be given respect. I think that's whack. So this person was like, yeah, I went to 31 Rue Cambon, I was treated really badly. People who were there with like their husbands and boyfriends, but just drinking the champagne, not buying anything, they were the ones who were treated well. So she left, she went to Celine, and she was happy at Celine and got treated well. So I think in general, a lot of the bad reviews concerning Chanel, particularly 31 Rue Cambon, are concerning the kind of frenetic pressure that is around the store. The store is a tourist attraction. So I think what does end up happening, which kind of explains the bad customer service, is you do get a lot of people who are not actually fans of Chanel, who don't actually want to buy anything, and who are coming to see where Gabrielle Coco Chanel lived. I'm amazed that Gabrielle Chanel is still this famous. I mean, forget about luxury shopping and those of you who love brands. If you're watching this channel, you love luxury shopping, so you're going to have like a marginal interest in her. I'm just amazed that people who don't even like fashion would think it's like interesting enough to like go and see where she lived. I mean, I find that amazing. And it's not because like I'm a Chanel hater or whatever, oh, you're always hating on Chanel. No, I actually think Christian Dior had a bigger impact on fashion than she did, but whatever. Like, I don't know what Chanel are doing, but they're marketing the H out of her, okay? And it's working for them. So whatever, you know, who am I to say? I'm just, you know, someone who has an opinion, and that's that. So I think because they're attracting a lot of people who are just going there to see, oh, that's where Gabrielle Coco Chanel lived. Let's go to the store and let's like maybe buy some earrings. It attracts a different kind of customer. And therefore, there's a bit more coldness, and it's very cold because a lot of the reviews of the 31 Rue Cambon store are really bad. There's some that are good. There are many that are bad. There are many that are like, oh my gosh, I went in there, I was treated like dirt. Someone else said that they went there to buy a wallet on a chain, a Chanel boy bag. They were ignored and treated like a sack of potatoes. And I just don't think that's fair. I don't think that's nice. But I feel like that particular boutique attracts a lot of tourists who aren't into luxury shopping. It does attract a lot of people from the US and from North America and Canada who obviously want to save money, and that's fine, but obviously they're probably fans of Chanel. But I do think it attracts people who, you know, have a map like, oh yeah, let's go see where Gabrielle Coco Chanel lived or whatever. And I did see a lot of reviews from men who were like dragged there by their wives and girlfriends, like, oh, my girlfriend made me go here. This is where Gabrielle Coco Chanel lived. People are rude in the store. It's like, yeah, okay, probably are rude, but you're just going there to see like the store, and the flat is above that. And then there's obviously like the famous staircase where you're allowed to take a photo. Now, to the point about the staircase, there were a few reviews that were like, oh my God, how come I bought something and I wasn't allowed to take a photo at the staircase? Someone said that they asked and they were declined. Yikes. Okay. Someone else was like, oh, I saw someone who didn't buy something and they asked and they were allowed to go. So I think Chanel is very unequal. They don't treat people the same. And I have a feeling, this is just my assumption based on all the reviews I've been reading, that Chanel treat people based on what they look like. I don't want to call it racial profiling, because I did hear in a lot of these reviews, I beg your pardon, that many people said that if you looked like you're, you know, potentially from Asia, like if you looked like you're from China or Japan or South Korea, you got treated better. I think it's more about the essays assuming that you have money. Okay, so they're looking at you thinking, whatever. Does this chick have any money? She probably doesn't have any money. And as someone who used to run a boutique, I remember I would always used to tell my employees who were in the store, like, don't make assumptions based on what someone looks like. But eventually it's just human nature to assume whether someone has money or not based on how they look, particularly if you work in a store. And if invariably what tended to happen, at least for Tanzania, I know it's very different in Europe, but in Tanzania, like, people who had money look like it. Like, the person looks nice, they look put together, they look like they're ready to spend money. Whereas I know in Europe, things are a bit more discreet, particularly in Europe, in the West. People, just because someone isn't wearing logos doesn't mean that they don't have £5,000, you know, to buy a Chanel 19 bag, for example. So that is something that I think is happening at the 31 Rue Cambon store. The essays really are looking at, you know, you up and down, like whatever, okay, this chick, like whatever. And I think that there's also a kind of quota on the amount of people who can be offered champagne, because the champagne issue seemed to be a massive deal, and people were really, really upset about this in the reviews I was reading. Like, oh my God, someone buying sunglasses was offered champagne and I wasn't. That's what one review said. And that would have me tight as well. I'd be triggered. So I'm like, you know, Chanel needs to figure out how they treat people, because it seems very unequal. Louis Vuitton, for the most part, of course, there are always going to be bad experiences everywhere, but in general, it has some pretty decent reviews, particularly the one, that huge one on the Champs-Elysees. That one has like decent reviews as well. I understand not allowing people to touch the bags because, yeah, everyone's like touching them. And this is even before C19, people are having their fingerprints all over them. And I've been told by people who work in luxury fashion that display bags are sold. Okay. I'm not buying a display bag, B. Okay. So you're not going to sell me a display bag, but I've been told by people who work in luxury fashion and in luxury brands that display bags are absolutely sold. So that also makes sense why they don't want people touching them all the time, because they're also hoping eventually to sell that bag to someone else. I'm super curious to know what you guys think about this. What do you think about the way Chanel treat people? What do you think about the crazy rules at the 31 Rue Cambon store? And how does that affect the way you see the brand? Do you think that Chanel needs to do better? Or do you think it clearly doesn't matter because they're making so much money? The final point I want to put out that I saw in a lot of these reviews, someone was like, I'm spending, you know, $7,000 buying purses and I'm not being treated well. I have been told on very good authority, I can't say who told me this, but I've been told on very, very good authority that Chanel treat people who buy pret-a-porter better than people who buy bags and accessories. You heard it here. This isn't up for debate. I know this from a very good source. So if you're just going in there to buy bags, of course you're going to be treated well for the most part, but you're not going to be treated as well as people who are buying pret-a-porter, so people who are buying clothes. I saw like this photo of Nicki Minaj and Black China on her Instagram, and I saw it on one of Nicki Minaj's like styling Instagram fan pages. There's a girl who finds out what Nicki's wearing, and she's wearing this, I think it's the new season. She's wearing this like red Chanel jumper in the Chanel cursive, and it's like $4,500. Their pret-a-porter is super expensive, and it's not even like, it's like, some of it is fire and some of it's like, Chanel, please, goodbye. So they do treat people better who buy clothing compared to people who buy just bags and things like that. So it's important for you guys to know that. If you are someone who ends up buying clothing, you will notice that they're warmer to you, they're kinder to you, and they're more friendly to you. I would love to know what you guys think of the way Chanel treats people in stores. Do you have your own Chanel horror stories or positive things? Because I've heard from some of you, one of you contacted me, like, I love your videos, but you're always going in on Chanel, be nice to them. I'm going in on them because Chanel are busy suing people, being nasty to people in stores. But hey, you know, you still gotta love them, so we have to talk about them on this channel. I'd love to know what you guys think. Please make sure you subscribe, hit that bell, give this video a thumbs up if you liked it. It really helps to support my channel. And I'll see you in my next video.